I've been doing yoga teacher training and it has already started making me completely question a lot of things about life. If you're new here, first off, my name is Alessia Maria. I am the face/voice behind this podcast. And one thing about me is that I am really big on mind, body, and soul connection. Great, we got that laid down as the foundation. I'm not going to do one of those long intros because, let's all face it, we don't want to hear it. But one thing that I've been learning recently in the yoga teacher training that I've been doing is really thinking about the question, who am I? I used to kind of question this a lot when I was younger. Back in high school, I was going through a lot of identity things, so I asked this question a lot. And lately, I feel like I just haven't been thinking about those big life questions for a while. So that's a little bit of what I want to do here today. On the podcast, it's kind of my time that I dedicate to myself to really just sit and think and talk about life things. And lately I've been doing a lot of more episodes that are about kind of like how to do this or how to do that, which is great because yes, I do think that those are important things. We got to set the habits to create a life we love, right? But I think there's a whole other side to that as well. And those are the big questions of like, who am I? What is life? Why am I here? All of these just like big questions that I just like, I don't know, they just make me feel so happy, right? And that's where I come into the question of who am I, which is one that I've been asking a lot through my yoga teacher training, and one that is pretty important while practicing the art of yoga. So the question, who am I? A lot of times when I ask this question to other people or ask it to myself, the first thing that comes up is things like, I'm a daughter, I'm a student, I'm, for me, a podcaster, right? All of these different things that describe us, describe what we do, but taking all of the labels away, who actually are we? Without any of our relationship to any other person, any other, being, existence, any of that, who are we ourselves? And that's something that I really had to tackle with when I was in high school. When going through the struggles in life, one of the big things that can often come up is the feeling of just feeling completely lost, right? And I think that that's one of the ways that one of the biggest and best ways I could ever describe how it felt to be just completely lost in life was by describing myself as this ceramic doll. I am this ceramic doll. Everything that I knew about myself was this ceramic doll. And then something happened, whether it be the, loss of a loved one, medical issues, dealing with mental health issues, difficulties with other people, all of these different things that can cause so many different struggles in life and often make us question a lot about life. Going through this and in dealing with that, it feels like this ceramic doll of the essence and the being that I was, right? It feels like it just absolutely breaks apart. Like there's someone taking a hammer at it and absolutely breaking all of it apart into the tiniest bits and pieces you can imagine, right? It's not fun. It's terrifying. Because if someone were to smash me apart, my mind and my body completely gone, who would I be, right? Who in the world would I be? And that is what it can feel like when we go through something difficult. Now, of course, all of us have it through different extents, right? I happen to go through a really difficult medical illness that, yeah, that's what it felt like. Not all of us are going to go through this same extent of all of that. And I don't want anyone to have to go through that. But in any sort of struggle, it does make us think a little bit more about who we are. And in a moment like that, it just made me really think about, if I take all of these things that I know about myself and they're all gone, then what is in the center of that ceramic doll? Because I was still here, but it felt like everything that I knew had disappeared, had shattered. So what was in the center of that doll? And that right there, in the center of that coating, of that shell, is you. At least that's what I believe. That's what it felt like to me. That's what it feels like when I'm going through this difficult thing. Who am I without all of the labels, without all of the things around me, my environmental factors, the things people say about me, the things I've experienced, all of the different labels that I have? Who am I despite all of that? I don't know. I've asked myself this question a million different times, and there will never be perfect words to describe it. But what I can say is that I think the way to find who you are at the center of all of this is not something that is words. I think that it's something that is an experience, an emotion, a feeling, a knowing, something so powerful that our minds and our bodies can't comprehend them. One thing that always was really hard for me when I was going through something like this was the fact that I felt like my body really limited me. And that sounds really weird to people, I know, because I've said that to people and they get confused, okay? But I did always feel like my body somehow limited me, because think about it. Your body is your body and your mind. You know, there's only so much that our human brains can actually wrap our minds around, right? There's only so much that we can really truly begin to understand. There's only so much that makes sense to us. And same with our bodies, right? Like, we have our limits. Like, for example, we have certain conditions that we need to be able to live in. We need to have our food. We need to have our water, right? We have limits to how we can actually survive with these bodies, right? So we do have limits, and that's something that I really felt was difficult for me when I was trying to find myself, because I personally really believe that who you are is more than just a body and a mind, but it's also a soul. And call it what you will, a soul, an energy, love, any of that, you know. I think that ultimately we are something more, right? When I think about it, I feel like at least for me, and if you disagree, that's okay, but at least for me, I feel like it has to be possible that there's something more out there, right? Because I'm so passionate about certain things. I'm so passionate about this podcast. I'm so passionate about talking about mental health and life. I'm so passionate about yoga, for example. I'm so passionate about all these different things. Then there are other things that just absolutely bring me so much joy that it feels like I could burst, right? And what is that? What is that that's calling that, that's causing all of that? Have you ever felt those emotions that just feel like no matter how many times you could try, you couldn't describe it? That to me, I think is what that energy or that existence of who you are is. I think that is our glimpse into the, you know, it's like our portal into seeing who we are really, and staying true to that version of you. I feel like is one of the best ways to figure out who you are. I don't think that I will be ever able to completely explain who I think I am, but rather I think I'll be able to feel it. I think the fact that I am able to go through this life exploring all of these different things allows me to feel those things and to find myself. Because yes, I did feel like my body was a limit in a lot of times trying to find who I was. But I think it's also a tool. I think it's a portal. It's a way to allow us to logically think about something, to sort the existence of life out in our brains, to sort the understanding of it all out. Our bodies give us the ability to explore all of these things. Our bodies give us the ability to feel sensations, to hear things, all of our senses. If I didn't have my body, Would I be able to experience that? I don't think so. So it's a way that I think that all of these things are connected, our mind, body, and our soul, to help us find who we really are. Who am I? I don't know. But between my mind and body, I think I'm getting a glimpse into my soul. I think I'm getting a glimpse into understanding the existence that I am. And so when you slowly start to realize that who you are might not be a label or a word or a way to describe yourself or any of that, I think the way to truly understand who you are and embrace who you are and continue to find that is by doing your best to stay true to it. I know the things that I love. Can I explain why I love them? A lot of times I can't. A lot of times it's hard to understand why certain things call me and other things don't. Why I like to live a certain way and why I feel certain things. But what I can do is stay true to that. I know that I love podcasting and sharing these words. Can I completely ever explain why? I don't think so, actually. Yes, I love sharing these things, and my hope is to be the voice that I once needed and that I still honestly do. The podcast is like a way for me to, it's honestly a self-care moment for me. And it's also a way that I really want to make other people feel that that it's okay to stay true to yourself and to find yourself and to find the same beauty that I want to share with you, right? But I don't think that even then I could ever truly explain how much it fuels my soul, my heart. It just makes me so happy, right? And so I think that is part of that moment where I don't quite understand why I love to podcast. I battle with it all the time. I struggle with the comparison all the time. It's not easy, but yet I keep coming back to it. And I know that this is what I want to do long term if it's at all possible. So I think that the way to stay true to who you are is by finding that thing or those things and just being as true to it as you can. Right? It's scary to start the podcast, but I did it and I'm still doing it. It was scary to make the purchase to go into yoga teacher training. I've wanted to do it for years, but I was scared about it. And it's those things though, where I'm doing something that's not just for a material possession, not just for something that I think is going to make me feel better, but something that I know deep down is good for me. Right? One thing that is really hard for me is when I'm having a bad day, I really compare myself a lot and I end up online shopping a lot. And when I online shop, which I kind of want to do an episode on this at some point, I tend to do online thrifting instead. So okay, that's better for the environment, right? But it's not great for my bank account. And I tend to just feel less great about it instead. When I spend all morning trying to figure out what I'm going to wear, it's hard. It's really hard. And sometimes I feel like these just worldly things, sometimes I think we just get so stuck in the past or the future or in the things that are right here, right now, and the worldly things that it's hard to actually remember that that's not everything. That, does it really matter what I wear today? Does it really, really matter in the long run? And I'm not saying that it doesn't matter at all, right? But what I am saying is that I know for me, when I take a leap of faith for something that I know is truly calling me from my heart, that's when it can be absolutely terrifying, but it is so rewarding and it makes me feel closer to me. And the closer that I am to me, the better I feel. So I think that it's those moments where sometimes I wonder if things would just be easier if I could turn off my brain or my body for just like a second to truly listen to what is going on in my heart. And I'm not saying that I want to do that forever. I think that the mind and the body are some of the most incredible gifts that we have. It's absolutely incredible. Like, I cannot imagine a world without smell or without taste or without like being able to feel things. Like, I can't imagine it. I can't imagine a world where I don't get to do all of this thinking, because it is like my safe spot to just be thinking and allowing myself to just be. But I think that we spend so much time with our mind and our body that sometimes we forget to have that quality time with our soul too. And that to me is truly who I am. That to me, I think, who am I? The only answer to that question is I am mind, body, and soul. That is the best way that I have been able to try and describe it, because mind, body, and soul is different for everyone. It's unique to everyone. And by saying mind, body, and soul, it doesn't imply anything. It just implies that I just am. I'm just me. I'm just my existence. That's something I've been thinking about lately. And I want to do more of these just deep life thought type of episodes. Because these are the ones that just they fill my cup so much. So you might be seeing a little bit more of this. And if you're interested in it, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next week.